Hey there, everyone. It's Gigi's Sober Son. February 22nd. AA Thought for the Day. Now, we can take in an inventory of the good things that have come to us through AA. To begin with, we're sober today. That's the biggest asset on any alcoholic's books. Sobriety to us is like goodwill in business. Everything else depends on that. Most of us have jobs which we owe to our sobriety. We know we couldn't hold these jobs if we were drinking, so our jobs depend on our sobriety. Most of us have families which we either had lost or might have lost if we hadn't stopped drinking. We have friends in AA, real friends who are always ready to help us. Do I realize that my job, my family, and my real friends are dependent upon my sobriety? Yeah, that I got sober within my first year of acquiring a ready-made family. I had a wife and two children from a previous marriage that she had from a previous marriage. And I knew one of the things that got me thinking about sobriety was that my stepkids were seeing me every day, as I only really ever saw my father on the weekends. And I could see within a couple of months that my drinking was pretty much incompatible with that family life. And it started to bother me, and maybe even drove my drinking a little bit more because of the realization that I wasn't measuring up as a father. All the things that I tried to correct about my own father, I wasn't doing because of my drinking. And so I can look back, and the mother of my children we had together later, the two children we had together, used to take issue with me going to meetings, and I thought, if I didn't have sobriety, we wouldn't have this marriage. And it lasted, in hindsight, way longer than it would have had I continued to drink. Either I would have got fed up and left anyway and drank myself into oblivion, or she would have just decided she couldn't deal with the consequences of my drinking and left me. And she said, several times throughout the years that had I continued to drink the way I was, that she would have left me anyway. So there you have it, and that part about real friends in AA, we definitely get closer than most people walking around in society because we're willing to share our experience, strength, and hope. And sometimes that experience is embarrassing and would be maybe even shameful in any other setting. But that passage from the big book and the family afterwards that says we come to realize that in God's hands the dark past is the greatest possession we have. It actually puts us, and that's the quote, and sharing it, and when led by God, actually puts us in closer relationship with others, because we share our vulnerabilities rather than our wins. We share our wounds rather than our wins. And so many people are self-promoters, they want to share how awesome they are rather than share their mistakes. And AA provides a forum in order to share our mistakes and admit our failings. Surrendering to win is one of the key themes of recovery in Alcoholics Anonymous. Meditation for the day. I must trust God to the best of my ability. This lesson has to be learned. My doubts and fears continually drive me back into the wilderness. Doubts lead me astray because I am not trusting God. I must trust God's love. It will never fail me. But I must learn not to fail it by my doubts and fears. We all have much to learn in turning out fear by faith. All our doubts arrest God's work through us. I must not doubt. I must believe in God and continually work at strengthening my faith. That's work. The word work gets me every time. And must not doubt. I continually find that letting go of what I thought I knew about God and about myself is more important than my efforts. And I probably quoted it recently, there's the prayer, the let go prayer. God, help me to let go of what I think I know about you, about myself, about the world, about my recovery, about AA, so that I can have a fresh, new experience in all of these areas. And I find that when I let go of my preconceived notions, even just a little bit, right? Sometimes it's just a little bit, to hear another perspective. I get to see the world from a different point of view, and sometimes that is, a lot of the times it's refreshing. Even if I'm just saying, okay, and then restating the other person's point of view to their satisfaction, I'm at least opening my mind to another point of view. That's compassion as far as I'm concerned, right? And wisdom and I don't think that's overstating it too much, that to open myself up to another point of view by letting go of what I think I know and really trying it on, this new idea, trying it on for a while to see how it fits, right? I can't try on new shoes until I take off the ones I'm wearing. You know what I mean? So hopefully that's a good analogy and not too far a stretch. As most of you know, I'm just airing out my thoughts on a lot of these issues, and sometimes I don't agree with what's in the book, and that's one area. Work at strengthening my faith. Make a habit of strengthening my faith. That to me is a better phrasing of that sentence, right? Because building a habit is creating new neural networks in the brain, new synapses, to get kind of technical about it, and taking old. So I had a spiritual guy explain it to like this, right? Some of these old habits and old faithless ways of operating in the world were like 6-lane divided highways with cyclone fences and overpasses, right? So traffic can flow unimpeded down that neural pathway, right? So when I surrendered my will and my life to the power of God as I understand God, because I was taken to my knees by alcohol, I had to develop these new neural pathways, right? That initially I had to take a machete to, to go through that way. But some people can show me the way and lead the way. That's where that connection with other people in recovery is important, right? They can show me another path, right? That initially for me is a path, like a little trodden footpath through the forest, like through these, through the through that overgrowth, right? After a while, it starts getting better worn, and then becomes something more like this, right? It's still not clear, but it is still trodden down and well worn, right? And then, the habits of prayer, the habit of going to meetings, the habit of being in fellowship with other people, other like-minded people. All that has to be developed over time. Is it work? It's a decision, first and foremost, that the old, easily traveled path is the highway to hell, basically. It's like, it's not a song, it's a great song or whatever, but it's not a good destination. And it's not just hell for me, it's hell for everybody if I continue to drink. It's hell for society if I'm out drinking and driving, or just being a general nuisance in my community, costing taxpayer money, to incarcerate me, or so on and so forth, But again, I think it's less work than it is just deciding to create new neural pathways by being in community with other people. Allow them to show me a new pathway, a new route in my life that may initially be take some effort, right? But is it work? No, because it's a pathway to is it a slog? Basically, it's a pathway to a better life, right? To a better outcome in my life. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may live the way God wants me to live. I pray that I may get into that stream of goodness in the world. That stream of goodness. I love what it says about, and I can't remember where it is in the big book, but it talks about seeing what we can pack into the stream of life. And I love that, because my life is so much more full now that I am in connection with the people around me, that I am have a walking, talking, real rubber meets the road relationship with my higher power. And I talk to him, I ask of him, and I do regular sitting in silence with my eyes closed, aka meditation. And heck, meditation could be sitting in silence with my eyes open during a meeting, listen to what other people have to share. That can be meditation, because I believe you all are God with skin on. God uses you all, whether you realize it or not, to teach me about the world and about me and about how I interact with the world and about God. So we had a birthday meeting today, and the lady who celebrated 11 years was very instrumental in two major areas of my life where I expanded my spiritual life, basically. She was talking very matter-of-factly about how, about this new church that she goes to, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but I did ask her after the meeting, what church do you go to, because that sounds pretty awesome. And I've been going there ever since. And she and she actually told me, when I was recalling this after the meeting, that she was told not to talk about church in AA meetings. And I don't think that's true. I do understand that one of the reasons, I agree that we shouldn't proselytize, like try to preach to people that they need a particular brand of religion, as Bill Wilson would say. But I think it's okay to talk about what we learn at our places of worship. The big book says, be quick to see where religious people are right. They have a lot to offer, right? Religions have been around. Most religions have been around long before AA started. So, and I firmly believe that when we truly seek, we will find our higher power. And that's okay. So, and the other thing that she talked to me about was that she was going to adult children of alcoholics meetings, and I didn't know there were any around here in this area. And so I started attending that a couple years after she got sober, and that has been super helpful as well, to look at the causes and conditions for why I drank more closely. And I'm really grateful, just as an aside, it's enhanced my overall recovery, especially in Alcoholics Anonymous, because it does more of a deep dive into those causes and conditions, those foundational things that I learned about me, about God, about the world around me. And it was in there that I realized that I was constantly in fight or flight mode, that I saw the world through the lens of fear, and I still catch myself doing that sometimes, and it makes me want to hide away and isolate, and that is not what I believe God wants me to do. God doesn't want me to be, even if I would get super spiritual and then decide that I'm going to hide myself away as a monk and just pray all day, I don't believe that's what God wants me to do. Now, that may be appropriate for some people, but I need to be in connection with others. So I hope you all do too. I hope you realize that, and that is the way for you, and I hope to see you in the rooms sometimes. I love y'all. Keep coming back. Look up, aim up, rise up.